Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel. TJ here, bringing you guys another deck profile. Sorry, very staggered opening. My brain's melted. Anyways, today I'm going to be bringing you guys Kimeramon. I'm used to throwing in the members first thing here, but no, this is just a full just public deck profile. So we were chatting and decided with some friends and whatnot, decided we should start doing deck profiles more around the actual time the set drops to at least give you guys an idea, as long as the deck that we've, at least theory crafted and tested somewhat, have some sort of idea as to how it's supposed to function, how we want it to function. So that is what I'm doing today. I'm going to be going over our DM Kimera list here. Kimera is really cool. Brand new secret rare boss monster out of EX-9 versus Monsters. Based on the old like Digimon toys, or like the little Digitama, like that. Tamagotchi like toy thing. Anyways, my brain is going to mush. But anyways, before I jump into it, just want to say thank you guys for checking out this video. If you like this content or other content that we do, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and maybe just drop a like on it. It just tells you to YouTube algorithm that we're doing the right thing. So appreciate it. Let's go ahead and jump into the profile here. So starting things off, run 4 copies of the Sunomon egg. He has your turn once per turn. When face down cards are placed in his sources, you digivolve into a V2 trait card in the hand with the cost reduced by 1. The reason we're running him and not the Tokomon being also a very good card. This card right here, where when this is one with face down cards would digivolve into a V3 trait card, reduce cost by 1. So initially I was running the Toko. The reason we're not doing it anymore is because I decided that I'd rather have earlier aggression coming out from the Skull Greymon, who is a V2 card. And just to try and help promote setting up the trash faster for Kimeramon's assembly effect. You can use the version 3 Toko just fine. It'll make your Kimeramon 1 cost cheaper when you digivolve into him because he is a V3. But I figured the 1 cost reduction there into Kimera, as opposed to just getting earlier aggression with Skullgray to kind of start doing some chip, potentially putting cards in trash after his mill and everything, is really good. I'll go over what they do more specifically when we get to that part. But just to kind of give you a little bit of a flash forward on why I'm doing what I'm doing. I think both variants are viable in some sense. I'm going to test out both to see which one really feels better, but I have a feeling that Suno might end up feeling better just for pure aggression purposes. Moving on to that, we'll jump to the rookies. All of them have the training effect, so I'm not going to linger there. They really just run for different inheritables. We have Raid off of the Biomon. We have Jamming off of the Beta. Elecmon makes it that during your turn that all your opponent's security Digimon have minus 3000 DP. And then Kunemon gives Piercing. So initially with the Tokomon version, I was running 4 of the Beta for more jamming, so that way that Kimera had a better chance of living when swinging into security. But in this variant, we don't really want to live when swinging into security necessarily. We kind of want to go bye-bye, so we, can... we'll set up our trash and do everything else like that off the mills and whatnot, but we'll just put more cards in the trash and then be able to still spit out another body that can help us just cycle faster through our deck to potentially put more in trash on the following turns. Or even the same turn. If you keep doing the whole play, you can go into another Skullgray maybe go into a Kimera off that. I don't know. World's your oyster. We'll find out. So that's the kind of the idea there. We run 10 rookies total. You also can place them off of Kimera's effects, so just having the different colors accessible is really, really nice. And that's why we do what we do there. So jumping on from that, we'll move on to the 4s now. So you'll kind of see the 4s are a menagerie of different things. Think of the deck as sort of like a Machine light package, in the sense of you want to run a bunch where, Machine traditionally wants to run a bunch of different level 5 sideboard cards to turn on their on plays, be it the new one's assembly or like EX-1's on play effect, etc. Kimera wants to place 7 full level 4 DM trait Digimon cards with different names. That's why we have just a whole slew of things here to make sure we can try and achieve that as fast as possible. So kicking things off, we'll go in with the Greymon here. They all have training, so I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to linger anything there. In case you don't know what the training effect is, I guess I should explain it. Basically, in the main phase, you can suspend this Digimon to place your deck's top face down card as its bottom source. You can also use this effect in the breeding area, which means that when you evo into your rookies in the back, for example, you can start setting up your stacks right away, which can be really good. It's very important to make sure you do that and don't forget to do that. But Greymon here has just 1 attacking once per turn. You can place your deck's top face down card as his bottom source. You get plus 1 KDP for each of its face down Digivolution cards until your opponent's turn ends. Keep in mind it lingers until end of opponent's turn, so that DP boost could come in handy. It could be very, very clutch. And then inheritable of just your turn plus 2k. It's pretty solid. It's really nice. Just a good aggression piece. You'll typically be swinging around 7k with him, which is pretty decent. You know, especially if you use him to Evo off of the Sunomon effect to go into Skullgray, you're swinging in at 9k, so pretty solid there. But just a good card, decent aggression, also good for just helping control maybe suspended bodies your opponent leaves on the board. Moving on to Tuskmon, he has 1 Digivolving and 1 attacking once per turn. You can place 1 card in your hand face down as your bottom source to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 DP or less. So he's just good board control, mostly really good for dealing with pesky floodgates that might stop you from reducing play costs that shuts off your assembly. So it's really, really nice to use him. And then having the raid keyword is really, really important. I'm on 1 of him because we're already running 3 BO, so we have pretty decent access to the raid keyword in our inherits. So that's all we really needed there. That feels pretty good. And you'll notice too, I'm running just about 3 of each color level 4, because it felt like the best way to sort of balance it out and kind of get some of the effects that I wanted. And also because we want to have an equal access to, I think, to all of the different colors for Kimeramon's on Evo and on-play, or a non-play effect, which I'll get to when I get to them, but just to kind of explain why it's another reason why it's this menagerie. Moving on from there, we're in 3 copies of the Garurumon from EX-9. He has on play and on Evo. You place 1 card in your hand face down as your bottom source, and then for each of your face down Digivolution cards, you trash any 1 Digivolution card from your opponent's Digimon. So this can be really good for dealing with things like Protoform. You can deal with things like certain very powerful just inherits that you don't want to be there. Maybe get rid of eggs, get rid of 5 inherits, you know, stuff like that. It's very, very helpful. Possibly strip an ace card out of the stack, gain some memory off of it. You know, pretty solid. So just a good card. Jamming Inherit also just can be really, really nice when we go into Kimera, just to help ensure that he survives those checks. Typically he'll be a pretty big body, so you shouldn't have to worry about that, but it's nice just to have that little bit of extra security, you know? So good card, solid piece. We like it. He's also the only blue, like, DM, like, version trait card. Like, we don't have another one. It's literally just him, and that's it. So... he's the only blue DM, like, level 4 that we have, so that's why there's 3 of him. If there was another one, believe me, I'd probably be running it, because I don't know if I need, like, that much jamming. But, you know, it's good to have in some situations. Moving on, 1 copy of Airdramon here. 1 attacking, you can place your deck's top face-down card as bottom source, and then to one of your opponent's Digimon, give minus 2,000 DP for the turn for each of your face-down Digivolution cards. So you'll typically be popping, like, a 4K, just about. The DP reduction, though, can be pretty important if you're, like, trying to swing at a bigger body and want to Evo into your Skullgray while you're doing it. Maybe bring it back down a little bit more towards your level, or more, you know, under your DP range, which can be really nice. And then you have the Barrier Inherit, which can just be pretty helpful for certain situations. But just solid card, good piece. Moving on from there, 1 copy of Angemon, who has on play and on Evo. Placed 1 card in your hand face down as your bottom source, and then give one of your opponent's Digimon sec -1 and -3 KDP until the turn ends. Just a good way to kind of help stall out your opponent, slow them down a little bit, keep things really, really sort of, you know, maybe just keep the pace of the game in your control. And the minus DP could also make the difference as well, depending on, you know, where your play goes from there. So just solid effect, good card. And then inheritable of on deletion if you have 3 or fewer security, recover 1, which we can recycle that inheritable with different chimeras and other stuff, or even Skullgray swings. So it's just good to have that access to recovery, even if it's only minor. And then moving on from there, to round out our yellow level 4s here, we have Unimon, who has 1 Digivolving, 1 attacking. Once per turn, you can place 1 card in your hand face down as your bottom source. Then if you have as many or fewer security cards as this Digimon's face down Digivolution cards, you recover 1. So I love this card. I think he's really, really strong. If there was like a more of a version 3, like, focused version or variant of the deck that was good and could work, he's a great card. But you know, the other version 3 stuff's not too insano braino, so he's just he finds his place here. So pretty solid. And then inheritable to give when attacking one of your opponent's Digimon minus 2,000 DP for the turn, can also make the difference in helping you climb over those bigger bodies. I mean, things so easily hit, like typically nowadays you want to hit that sort of 17k threshold, I think, for most things. If your deck can do that, then your deck is in a pretty good spot to function into the current meta. And it just helps you sort of achieve that goal in certain situations. But it is getting crazy because things now are just starting to kind of just hit like 20k plus so frequently. So we'll see how long that kind of holds up. Moving on from there to our green level 4s, we run 2 copies of Kabuterimon, who has on play and on Evo. Place 1 card in your hand face down as bottom source. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and it can't unsuspend in their next unsuspend phase. So just a good way to sort of, again, take the the game pace back in your control. Slow things down, lock things down, could be really, really nice. Can also, you know, lock things down for you to swing over with Skullgray or Kimera, depending on the play that you have coming up. So just a solid card, and then has one attack. You can also suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, which can also be very, very impactful, can matter there. And then moving on from there, on one copy of Kuwagamon, who has on play when attacking, literally the same exact effect as Kabuteri. For that, it's just on play when attacking as opposed to on play on Evo. And then he has the Inheritable of Piercing. Just a good card, solid piece. We like it. And then scooting on from that to our black level 4s. The only one that really works with this deck like well is Monochromon. The other ones are all of like the end of your turn, place 3 of etc. version trait card underneath this to go ahead and digivolve into, it's like, you know, such and such version trait card. You know, and you still pay the full cost for it, and they all just get blocker inherit, so they just didn't feel very impactful or useful for this. So Monochromon has on play and on Evo. Place one card in your hand face down as bottom source. Digivolve 1, or sorry, not on play on Evo. On play when attacking. My apologies. But you'll place card in hand face down as bottom source. Digi 1 of your opponent's Digimon. Access to Digivolve is good, and then also giving you the blocker inherit access is really, really nice for setting up Kimera if you just need to set up sort of a big blocker to kind of stave off a turn or something like that. But Digi is just such a powerful effect on its own that, you know, he warrants some space there. Scooting on from that to our purple level 4s, we only run 2, and there's a reason for that, but essentially we have Ogremon here, who has on Evo on attack. Once per turn, place a card in hand face down as bottom source. Delete level 4 or lower Digimon. Really, really good, really solid effect, just giving us more removal, and then also Inheritable of 1 attacking, draw 1, trash 1. Just good for that, more like just helping our consistency, helping our cycling. Just a solid piece. And then one copy of the Devimon, who has on attack. Place your deck's top face down card as bottom source. Delete one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon. For every 2 of this Digimon's face down Digivolution cards, add 1 to this effect's level's maximum. So you'll typically be deleting 4s with this, which is pretty solid. Sometimes you can maybe climb up to 5s, but you'll typically be deleting 4s, which is really good. And then has Retail Inherit, which can also be very, very impactful. So just another solid piece. And that is it for our 4s there. Jumping into our 5s. 4 copies of Skullgreymon. He just works specifically to help enable your Kimeramon. He is your sort of bridge the gap piece here to get him to get your Kimera's assembly online. So he's also treated as a level 4 for Kimeramon's assembly. That's why we're only running 2 purple level 4s, because he basically acts as a whole other one for it, which gives you access to 4 of the cards for that whole effect. He has on play and on Evo. For each of your face-down cards, you trash top card of your deck. Then you may return 1 DM trait Digimon card from your trash to the hand. And then on deletion, you may play 1 level 4 or lower DM trait Digimon card from your trash without paying the cost. So the thing that the Skullgray will be good for here is that you can swing with a lot of your level 4s, right? Like a lot of the one attacking effects specifically is what you're going to want to be using. So your Greymons, your Tuskmons, your Airdramons, your Unimons, your Kuwagas, Monocro, Ogremon, Devimon, pretty much all of them save for Angemon and Garurumon. And Kabuterimon give you access to a when attacking effect to place a card either from hand or top of deck, which will then turn on Pseudomon's effect to let you go into the Skullgreymon for 2 rather than 3. So a good way to kind of just climb into him early, get some good early aggression and chip out of him. Either you'll be a bigger body, you might have jamming, you might have retail, you might have a draw one trash one here for future turns, stuff like that. You might have blocker, stuff like that, yada yada. Just a really solid card, solid piece to kind of help you get there. And then, of course, with the on-deletion effect, even if you swing and chip security early, you'll be able to spit out another body and potentially use that to go into another Skullgray, maybe digivolve into a Kimera to control board, etc. Go from there. You can, imagine the possibilities. And then he also just has the inherit as well. When you tuck him under Kimera, he'll give you the same on-deletion inherit to play a level 4 or lower Digimon card with DM trait from your trash without paying the cost. The weirdest thing with him is how they worded the on-deletions for the effect and the inheritable differently, even though it's the same effect. I don't really know why they did that. Maybe I'm just too stupid to get it. Someone can explain it to me, but that's what he does. He just enables you. You'll typically trash 2 cards off of evoing into him. Maybe a third, if you decided to meet in that process somewhere. But it's just a solid piece for kind of getting you online and putting you where you need to be. And then closing out our level 5s, we have the brand new boss monster himself in Kimeramon. So he's a 10 play cost with 10,000 DP out the gate, 5 cost to Evo, so he's a bit chunky. But he has Rush and Sec +1, which is very important. On play and on Evo, you may place 1 level 4 or lower DM trait Digimon card from your trash as your bottom source, as your top Digivolution card. Then you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the same color as any of this Digimon's Digivolution card. So keep in mind, it doesn't have to be the card you placed. It just has to be any of the colors you have in your sources. If this Digimon has 6 or more colors in its sources, instead delete one of each of your opponent's Digimon with different colors. So he can act as sort of like a pseudo board wipe. Keep in mind, it's all one big instance of deletion still. So things like the Minimon's effect, that like if you were to choose like a Cherubi Ace is green, a Magna Ange is blue, and then like Domini is yellow, whatever, yada yada. Domini can still just burn 1 security to protect the entire board. It is still only just, it's not like Levias where it's pop this and then pop this. It's all just one big pop. So keep in mind, and it's also an instead, so you won't get like that initial deletion part. You'll only just get the, 6 or more colors, delete 1 of each, etc. So very solid there. And then all turns, he gets +1 KDP for each of his Digivolution, for each color in his Digivolution cards. So just solid. You can typically climb up to be like around 16k. Once you get his assembly online, even just going off into him off rip, you'll typically sit around 12k or so, which is still level 6 levels of DP to start, so pretty solid. And it being all turns also helps a lot. And then he also has the brand new game mechanic in assembly, which we have this in our new Machine Dramon as well from this set, where assembly -7. 7 level 4 DM trait Digimon cards with different names is what you need to play him for that reduced cost. And you place the cards from trash specifically to reduce the play cost. Now, keep in mind with assembly, for people that are new to it, you cannot just do part of it. You can't do like 6 of the level 4s. You can't do 5 level 4s. It has to be 7 level 4 DM trait Digimon cards with different names. You have to meet that requirement. It's not like Digicrossing, in the sense of Digicrossing, like you have like, you'll have like 4 Digimon listed, but you can Digicross and just not have one of them, and you just won't get the full reduction. This one, you have, it's all or nothing. You either have all of the requirements or you don't have it. There's no in between. So just something to keep in mind with his assembly effect. But I mean, you'll drop him for 3 with Rush and Sec +1 and all those inheritables. It'll be really, really nice. So that's sort of the idea there, and that's why we want to try and get Skullgray going as fast as possible. To actually make use of our Kimeramon's very quick, just hard slam, just board blow up potential. And it does take a little bit of time to get there, but once you do get there, he's strong. He's very, very strong. So that's it for him. That's it for that there. Scooting on to Tamers, we run 4 Analog Man. Just solid memory setter. When you play a play cost 7 or higher Cyborg, Machine, or DM trait Digimon, you can suspend him to draw a card and gain a memory. And then you can place 1 card from your hand face down as any of those Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards. So he's really good in the sense of like, if you are in a weird spot, you can still utilize things like Skullgray, things like Kimera, and drop them for a reduced cost. For Kimera, it'll still work after the assembly as well, because his base play cost is still 10, or his listed play cost is still 10. So you'll be able to play him for 3 and then possibly reduce it anywhere down from 3 to 0, right? Because we are running 4 Analog Man. I mean, hell, you might even +1 off it if you have all 4 on board somehow. So really, really cool there. And then also just works with Skullgray in the sense of he is a 7-drop DM trait card, so you can still drop him, reduce Evo, and reduce the play cost. If you're just sort of like in a weird sort of like bricked situation somehow. Just kind of helps you enable things there, and it just gives you extra draw as well, extra cycle. And the face down cards that get placed as well can be pretty impactful. Obviously for Skullgray, it'll help you mill more, but for Kimera, it'll help you enable your proteins as well, which is really, really good. So that's the idea there. Moving on from that, 4 copies of Analog Youth. So at the start of your main phase, you can place 1 card from your hand face down as any of your DM trait Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards, which is really, really good. Helps turn on those same things like protein. Helps, just set up more pieces to go to the trash under Skullgray if he lives through a turn, etc. And then your turn, when face down cards are placed as any of your Digimon's Digivolution cards, you can suspend him to gain a memory. Then if you have 7 fewer cards in hand, you'll draw 1. So he just works in tangent really well with Analog Man when you hard drop these guys to give you additional memory from playing Kimeramon, from playing Skullgraymon, if you do it like that. Even if you evo into any of these level 4s, you'll be able to gain memory off of Analog Youth as well to help you sort of just make things more consistent, draw more cards out of your deck, etc. And then he also has the opponent's turn effect of all of your Digimon with face down Digivolution cards gain reboot. So he just gives, everything has access to reboot, which is really, really nice. So you don't leave yourself suspended in an awkward position. So just good, solid card, solid piece. We love it at 4. And then scoot down from there, we move to our options. We have 4 copies of meat. This is effectively just training for DM. So as long as you have a DM trait, Digimon, or Tamer on the field, you can ignore color requirements. Keep in mind it works the same way as Adventure, right? So if you don't have a rookie and you hatch the Sunomon and your best play is to play a meat turn 1, you can do that. The breeding area counts as the field. He has a DM trait Digimon in there, so you can play meat and be okay. So just something to keep in mind in case anyone has questions about that. But main effect, you'll draw 1, you'll place it in the battle area, and then the delay effect is to place a card from your hand face down as any of your DM trait Digimon's bottom sources. You then Digivolve into a DM trait Digimon in the hand with the cost reduced by 2. So it's literally just training while also meeting DM sort of requirements and playstyle. So really solid effect. And then security, you draw 1, then place it in the battle area. So kind of even better than training in that sense, where you'll still get something, you get some more cycle from your deck out of it being hidden security, as opposed to training just being placed in the battle area. But training would be even more busted if you could somehow reveal the top 2 and grab a card off of getting hidden security. We don't need that. And then moving on from there, we run 3 copies of Protein. This one is honestly kind of a flex spot. I'm not too sold on this card just yet. I'm still playing with it and seeing how it feels. The potential, I think, is really, really there, but it takes a little bit more setup, and it doesn't feel the best to play as opposed to a meat, especially with how fast the meta is nowadays. But it is very nice out of security. So you main draw 1, same thing as meat, right? And then you place it in the battle area. And then delay, you can trash one of your DM traits Digimon's bottom 2 face down specifically, evolution cards, and you unsuspend it. So he basically can just kind of make it so your Kimera can pull off multiple checks in a turn. You could even do it with Skullgray to try and pull off multiple checks if you're feeling a little bit frisky, feeling a little crazy. But that's just one of the things it lets you kind of do. And then out of security, it'll gain you a memory and then place in the battle area. So it can potentially steal turn, right? It's going to be a sneaky card where a lot of people aren't going to be used to it. I don't know how many people are planning on playing DM stuff. I know it doesn't seem like the most popular thing. I myself am super excited for it because of how toolboxy the entire thing is. But it'll definitely catch people off guard if they put themselves 0 memory, swing, and then accidentally, forget about it, and then they hit it out of the security, gain a memory, steal turn back, and then potentially from there just kind of go off with other resources. So that's the list. That's everything we have there. Matchup wise, I don't know how it's going to fare into the current meta. I know a lot of people foresee Sakuya and Megidra having hits on the horizon. I myself also see that happening. Sakuya's current playstyle is just a little bit sort of obnoxious, and Megidra's playstyle is just dumb. It's just, as someone who plays a lot of the deck, I enjoy playing the deck, but I recognize how stupid it is. I think a lot of stuff out of EX-9 will kind of have a hard time into the current format with how fast those decks are. Abaddamon actually might probably be the best one doing okay at the moment, which even that list, the profile just went up today as a recording. This will go up so it'll be 2 days ago from now. Which check that out if you haven't already. I've already made changes to that list, but that Abaddamon seems to be the word on the street is that deck's doing pretty well. So, and in my own testing, it felt pretty decent. So I'm hoping that deck maybe kind of brings a little bit of a game changer here. But yeah, overall, really fun list. Really, really fun deck. I think Kimeramon has a lot of potential as a card. We'll just need to see what else we get for DM, if we get any more level 4 DM support. We already know we're getting new 5s and 6s, which, just to sort of touch base on that, the new sort of Manze and Shin Manze stuff with the version 1 DM-like deck actually might be pretty decent. I'm talking turn 2, swinging aggression, possibly, choking your opponent to 1, doing crazy stuff, which is pretty neat. But this deck is fun. I'm definitely going to keep experimenting with it. I'll probably toss level 4 ratios around a lot as I go through my testing. I just wanted to sort of splice in as much as I could to start to sort of see what feels best into the current format, because we're just, it's just so fresh. We're going to have a lot of stuff to play around with. So that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully everything was conducive and knowledgeable enough. If you guys have any questions that I can answer, let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any suggestions on ways to make this deck better, or things that you think would be a fun tech to put in here, let me know in the comment section down below. Tell me your secrets. I wish to hear. For now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get out of here, and I got to work on some other stuff. But don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye!